Hey guys, so we're back on the 24 valve Cummins. Kind of getting a late start this morning. Woke up early in the morning for Trent goes out with my daughter, and they stayed up late watching movies all night. We'll see if he's on time this morning. Anyway, my daughter comes running upstairs. I was already in bed. I went to bed at 10:30, and daughter comes running upstairs, says, "Dad, there's somebody going through your service truck. We caught him." But the guy ran off. Well, I guess they walked out here, and they were walking to Trent's pickup, and Bailey was going to walk him to his pickup about 1 o'clock in the morning. And they had walked past him. He was standing beside my service truck and had his back up against the door and was being still. And Trent said he thought he saw something out of the corner of his eye, but he didn't think much about it. And he said he got in his pickup, and he just kind of looked over there and he seen movement. And I think he had a 270 on him or something, and pulled a gun on him and put one in the chamber. Told the son bitch he had 30 seconds to get out of here. And the guy went running off down the driveway. It's probably the right thing to do. I probably wouldn't have done the right thing. I probably would have killed him, more than likely. I just know that past experience, the cops don't do anything. They don't care, you know. To me, my whole stance on that whole thing is you see the politicians this day and age, and how all the oaths that they've raised their hand to, and they don't fulfill any of them. You see the cops, and now you see all the stuff that they do, and they don't fulfill any of their oaths. The law doesn't mean anything to these people, but they want you to abide by the law. You know, so to me, your laws are pretty much useless. If you don't have to abide by them, why should I? So I probably would have put one right between his eyes, and we would have took him out in the desert and dumped him and come back home. Called her a day. That would have been me. So I went out and I got in my pickup and I went looking for him. You know, but that's the thing though, if you get rid of one of these piece of shit thieving bastards, you know, they're going to come after you and haul you to jail. You know, but he can come out and steal your livelihood and do whatever he wants to you, you know. Nothing happens to him. So, anyway. So I got in my pickup last night, and he said he went running down the street and he got in the car and left, but I just thought maybe I could, there was quite a bit of frost out. It was cold, and I was hoping I could see some tracks and follow them, and I could never find anybody. I drove all over the place. I'd have liked to have found that son of a bitch, I'll tell you that. So I guess we're going to have to put a security system up here at the house and make the lights all come on, and an alarm or something to, you know. I guess out here in Keno, a friend of ours, he had got a phone call from his neighbor the other night and said that he called him at like 2 o'clock in the morning and said, "Hey man, I just want to let you know, I pulled a gun on a guy tonight." And that's the thing with me. I was raised different. I'm not pulling a gun on anybody unless I'm going to pull the trigger. You know, once the gun comes out, it's over with. You're done. I mean, you can have that thing in your waist or whatever, but once it comes up out of there, it's unholstered, to me, it's time to go. You know, that's just the way it is. So anyways, that being said, I guess his alarm system went off at his house, and he's got floodlights on, and he went out there, and the guy was standing in his driveway. And he said he pulled the gun up on him. He had a laser on a 1911 Colt. He put the laser on his chest and told him, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And the guy wouldn't answer him. So he put the laser on his forehead. Still wouldn't answer him. So he put one in the ground beside him, and the guy just turned around nonchalantly and just started walking back off his property. And he said he called the sheriff's department, and he said nobody even showed up. "Oh, we'll send a deputy out," and nobody even showed up. So that's what I'm saying there. If they're not even going to come to the call, why not just get rid of the bastard? You know? I don't know. But you know how that works. The good guy will be the one. The guy that's getting broken into, he's going to be, the guy that did the offense, the one that came on your property and tried stealing from you, he'll be the victim, and you'll be the bad guy. You know how that works. So, anyways, that being said, I guess start putting this thing back together. I got my truck running out there, and back it up here a little closer to the door. Gotta get the valve cover on, We'll start putting exhaust manifold, oil cooler, all that kind of stuff. We got to get a lot of parts cleaned up. So anyways, I'll be back with you in a second. Okay, Trent's over there washing parts and helping with the installation. So, okay, so you got the, I didn't show it, but we're missing a couple bolts. We gotta find them. They're laying over there and all that junk. But anyway, this is the rear seal installer here. I think I got this from Freedom Racing. Well, no, I got it from Monaco Tool. Monaco Tool, Eugene, Oregon. Part number 2018181. The hashtag here number is, or no, not hashtag, asterisk. The asterisk here below it, that number is the actual Cummins part number, 3164660. But that's the rear seal installer. It works a little bit backwards. Most seal installers, you turn this clockwise to push the seal in. This one's backwards. You'll bolt the two Allen heads to the crankshaft. This seal that I got from Reliance, it comes with this driver plate, and they've got a giant, where's that plastic wear sleeve at? If you get the seal from Cummins, this not wear sleeve, but the installation sleeve that keeps the lip from turning on you and rolling on you while you put it on the crankshaft. Well, this one's too big, and the installer wouldn't go around it. The center plate wouldn't where it bolts to the crank. So we had to drive it in with the driver plate far enough to get it started on the crank. Because I don't like using these. I just don't like beating them in there. So we had to drive it in far enough to get it on the crank, and then pull this out once the seal was started over the the nose of the crank there, and then pulled this installation sleeve out, and then we put the installer on there, and then just take the two Allen heads, 2 bolts cross from each other, and just snug them up. You don't got to torque them down or nothing. And then just when you turn this counterclockwise, not clockwise like you would think, when you turn this counterclockwise, it'll actually push this part in and push the seal in flush where it needs to be. So, and then put your bell housing on, or rear structure, whatever you want to call it. And there's a seal. The only thing seals this up is there's a rubber seal that goes around the camshaft right there, and that's the only thing. There's no gasket back there. And then I take some anaerobic sealer and put it around that too, just to kind of double up on protection there so you don't have a leak. And then torque your rear structure bolts down to 85 foot-pounds. And this is a manual transmission, so this plate goes on. This plate goes on, and then torque it down. I'll have to look up the torque for that. But then you'll have to roll the crankshaft around, and you put the flywheel on, then you have to put a bolt in. The flywheel bolts into the back on these things, so they're kind of a goofy son of a gun the way they work. But anyways, we got the intake manifold on. This one had a power programmer and stuff, and see, it's got this hollow. This bolt goes in. It has to go into one of these 2 ports right here, because see how it reads manifold pressure through this special bolt they got in there. So when you put the grid heater on, you got to put it in. It's got to go in one of these 2, because these 2 here are the only ones that go inside. Well, you know what? I think this one does too, actually. You know what? That's where it was. It was out here. I remember now. It was in the corner. Yep, it was out here. So never mind with that. I got to take this one out. It's got to go through somewhere where it goes into the intake manifold to read. So I'll have to pull this bolt back out and put it in right here. And then he's up there cleaning the common rail out right now. We're going to go blow it out real good. You got to really make sure that thing's clean. And then these bolts here on the intake will bolt down to 18 foot-pounds. About everything on these 5 9s and 6 7s where you see a a shoulder bolt with a 10mm head, 9 times out of 10 they're torqued down to 18 foot-pounds. So once we get the common rail bolted on here and the manifolds bolted down, we're going to go ahead and put the grid heater on too, get it cleaned up. That way everything's sealed up and we don't take a chance of dropping something down our manifold. Then we can put all our rail on, and then put our fuel lines on, put the rear mount on, rear lifting eye will bolt on right here, and front lifting eye, if I remember right. No, I don't remember. That front lifting eye bolts on over here, right around in here somewhere. So we'll get everything on the top put on, then we gotta basically gotta get the oil cooler in there. Machine shop left a pipe plug out, and when you're doing these, make damn sure, okay, because I did this on a Power Stroke one time. I was young, I didn't know any better. You know, this machine shop here is a little better than the ones I used to deal with. They'll send you the freeze plugs with you. They don't tell you where they took them out at, but at least they send them with you, the new ones to put in there. That way you know. The old machine shop I dealt with on the Power Stroke, they just knocked all the freeze plugs out of the main galleries and didn't say nothing to me, and I didn't know. You know, they just sent the block back, a bare block back, and I went and put the whole son of a bitch together, put it in the pickup, and couldn't get any oil pressure. Had to pull the whole engine back out. I learned a hard lesson on that one. And then I had to strip it clear back down and find all the freeze plugs they knocked out of there and put all the plugs back in. Because they didn't send a note with it, they didn't tell you. I guess they just expect you to know what they did, you know. It's just, I get a little bit irritated with machine shops sometimes. So anyhow, so we'll get this side here put together, get all the lines put on it, got to torque the valve cover bolts down. I'm kind of thinking, I wonder if I ought to leave that frickin' valve cover off of there. Kind of wondering about that, because it sure is a lot easier to get it back in the pickup. It's tight, clearing that firewall right there. Really tight on the back end. But I kind of like to leave my engine clean and not have a bunch of crap from that firewall fall down to my rockers. I'll probably leave it on and just fight it in there. So anyways, we might just go ahead and take this cross member out right here. If we take this cross member out, I think we can slide it right in there where we need it to be. So that's probably what we'll wind up doing. Yeah, we're getting there. Yeah, you always hear about me bitching about machine shops, and it doesn't matter. I've taken the stuff to so many machine shops over the years. It just, you know, you just pick one. They're all the same. You know, they all do shit, and it's just, I know I'm complaining, but I have a valid complaint. Why can't, when you do stuff, you take shit apart and put it back together the way you took it apart? So they take all this shit and yard it all out of there and throw it in a sack. So here's what they did. They took this as a special plug. This ain't just a pipe plug. And I thought it was O-ring Boss, but it's different than that. So it's similar to this, but anyway, it's an O-ring Boss style plug, but it's got different threads than all the O-ring Boss plugs I've got in my service truck. It's finer threaded, so I'm not sure what it is, but they took that out and they didn't send that back with it. And then this was already out of here. I took this nipple off before I sent it for the heater hose. So they put a pipe plug back in there, but watch this. Where in the hell's my ratchet at? Oh, well, I was going to show you, but I'm going to tell you that all these pipe plugs they put in the head here, every one of them's loose. And here's another plug that isn't in a sack. They didn't even send it back with it. So we're going to go around and see if we can find that. You know, shit just drives me crazy, man. I don't understand what the big deal is about doing a thorough job and putting things back the way that you found them. That's what just kills me with these machine shops. I know the guy that owns this one, he's a hell of a good guy, but I'm sure that he was doing the work, it'd probably be right, but he's got a bunch of flunkies in there working for him, and they don't give two shits about nothing. He calls them bong hitters. couldn't do it. It's like, man, I just don't see what's so hard about it. It wouldn't have taken you 5 minutes to, everybody has a smartphone now. Take a picture of the ports that are on it and go, well, we'll leave that one out, you know, and then take a picture of this or whatever and put the fucking plug back in there where you pulled it out, especially when it's a special plug that we don't have. That's what I ought to do. I ought to just send this thing back. We'll put it in the pickup and we'll just leave half the shit off of it and go, well, you know, that's just the way it is. I fixed the problem. I put new pistons and rings and all that other shit. That's your problem. I mean, that's the mentality with these machine shops, it seems like, with me. Whatever. So, Trent, I got an old 6.7. I got a 6.7 cylinder head that's damaged down there, that's junk. It should have this in here. So, and this plug too. So I sent him with a bunch of tools to go down to the shop in McDowell and rob those fittings out of there. And then I got to go over all these and tighten all these up. And I mean, I don't even think they put any. The one I pulled out of here, as you can see the pipe dope on it. I pulled it out. What I did is I pulled this one out, and it was finger tight in there. And then I grabbed this one, it was finger tight in there. It wasn't even tight. It's like they just threaded them in there with an Allen by hand, and that was good enough, you know. And damn, I can't get on that one. That's going to be a problem, that one there. Well, since we're on the subject of bitching about shit, you know, why do people lie so much this day and age? People lie like a water rose off a duck's back, you know. It just, I'm not going to say who it is, but it's a customer, and we have this QuickBooks program, and when we email a bill to somebody, it says right on QuickBooks, it says when they were viewed. It says they've been viewed. It says when they haven't been opened. You know, we know they've looked at the email. There's no getting around that. And I don't know if a lot of these outfits don't realize that we know that they opened the email. And let's just put it this way. We got a customer that owes us a lot of money for about 7 different bills. And they flat out just kind of, I don't know. It just seemed like to me they were lying about it, because they said, well, we haven't got any. And then it says on every one of those we sent, it says they were viewed. I don't know, man. And what irritates me about that is I'll go out of my way to go take care of them. You know, they'll be broke down or something, or they'll have one of their hands that needs something on their ranch, and I'll go out of my way and stop what I'm doing, put all my shit up, go run over there, go take care of them, and then I don't get paid for it. The same, well, what I say is the same mentality doesn't apply. The hurry mentality about me getting there and fixing them, all that, yeah, let's do that, but the hurry mentality of paying me doesn't seem to be there. Kind of a nice double standard, you know. I'm in a pissy mood. I have to admit, over that piece of shit coming in my fucking yard last night. That's about all I can think about. I'd like to put a bullet in that son of a bitch. I'm kind of afraid that with our modern day society, sometimes I told my wife, I said, I don't know if I'm going to make it too long. She says, why is that? And I said, you know me. And I said, law enforcement this day and age is a complete joke. Most law enforcement this day and age, all they are is, I'm going to be honest with you, they're revenue collectors. They're there for the state coffers. That's what they are, or the federal. And if you're just an everyday citizen, you get to pay for everything. And you're the criminal, the one that's trespassing or breaking in or what have you, he's the victim. You know? He can do whatever he wants to you. And if you call the cops, they either don't show up, or a lot of the cops I had a friend that was a sheriff's deputy years ago, and this was years ago, and he was a good guy. And he quit intentionally because he said, I'm sick of being handicapped by politicians. He said, these bureaucrats have made it to where we can't do our jobs. And we can't enforce the laws that are on the books. And he said, I'm tired of treating good people like criminals. That's what he told me. He said, so I quit and I went back. He's a paramedic now. He wanted to help people, you know. And he realized that what they were doing to him was making, you know, they were making enemies out of good people. You know? So he couldn't do it anymore. You watch some of these videos, they're on YouTube and stuff, and I'm not saying every cop, there's a lot of good ones out there, I'm sure. We've got some pretty good deputies around here. Some pretty good sheriff's deputies. But the Oregon State cops, no. Just another arm of the governor, that's all they are. I can't get on this thing. I get a different pair of pliers. Okay, this heat shield's got to go on there. Yep, we got on the wife did. She got on the Facebook deal there last night, and sure as shit, there was a car stolen right over in this area last night. So now we never have locked these big gates by the highway, and I guess we'll start wrapping a chain around them and putting a lock in them at night. And then I'm gonna buy some really nice bright. I got some floodlights out here on the edge. But they're halogen, so I mean they kind of run your power bill up. So I'm gonna put some real nice big LED floodlights on there and get a motion sensor and put them on a motion sensor. And so you got to do everything you can, I guess, for the thieving pieces of shit. And the bad thing it is, you know, it's not all they're probably doing. They're probably tweakers, and they're probably on dope. So the only thing they're doing is trying to support their habit. So, you know, so I remember, well, we disassembled the top of the motor again because I forgot about these wonderful Dodges that you can't hardly, it's way, way, way easier to get this thing in with the rocker box off and the valve cover off, and then pull the rockers on this half. I don't know, we'll see what kind of room we got here. I ought to throw some rags or something over that, kind of keep the dirt shit from falling in there. God, it just irritates the shit out of me. Having to tear half the motor back apart to get it in the pickup. I hate working on pickups. I don't mind working on these engines, but I hate this. I really do. see if we can throw some rags over it, and then I gotta be careful I don't bust my injector off. I wonder if I should have pulled them too. Basically, if you get the chain on the lifting eye where they got it back here, it'll hit the firewall, and there's just no way. So you put a lifting eye right kind of almost damn near in the middle of the head and grab it. Pull one of your head bolts out, put a lifting eye on it, and then grab it there. That's about all a guy can do with these damn things. My little winter buddy, he come in to say hi. What's up, buddy? How are ya? You come in the doggy door? Well, how are ya? I know, Bubba. I know. It's just a good guy. Just a good guy. Oh, God, you do rest the chest there on the Oscar, buddy. That floor's pretty dirty. You don't want to lay down on there, Bubba. You crazy guy, you. I said, well, I just had to come out here and check out what was going on, see what Dad was doing. Huh. Good boy. That's what he does. He just comes in, checks on me, and then he'll help himself out. It's okay, bub. You do what you want. Oh, Oscar, I sure love that guy. He's a character, man. That dog is a character. And I'll go back outside. I'll back outside and mess around, huh? I go back outside and mess around, huh? You want me to let you out? You know how to come in. Well, is that kind of partially blocking what you want to do here? Hey, bub. We got so much shit laying around here. Here. There you go. Okay. Well, Oscar, he's a character, man. He is a character. Okay, let's keep on rolling here. Oh, these things are fun, fun, fun. injector sticking up back there. Might have to pull it out. Am I hung up on here on my wheel? Piece of dirt or something under my caster wheel on this thing, and it's hanging me up. Okay, we're there. Hopefully there's an injector that stores it. Now we can start going down real easy. He's tight. I'll tell you, that's the way to do it, is get that rocker box off of there and get them back set of get the rockers, about 3 of them off, and leave the push tubes in it. And I'll tell you what, with that rocker box and that valve cover on, man, it's a struggle. I've got them in, but I mean, you know, where they go in here, it tore the insulation off that, and it was one of those, I did that one time, and I'll never do that again. And I do it like this every time. It's just so much easier. I mean, the other way, you've got an angle. I've got one of those engine angle, whatever the hell you call it on there, engine levelers. And I mean, you got to sit there and tilt that thing like that. And it's still, you're dragging here on the firewall, and it just drops right in this way. So it's just, to me, it's the only way to do it. Why fight it, you know? Okay. We did alright so far. Got all the shit out of our valve cover or engine. So far. Come back a little ways further. Bit. Okay, I gotta get my motor mounts lined up now. I'll figure it out. Yeah, that's a hell of a lot easier, I'll tell you what, man. Man, that's a lot easier doing it that way. Well, they just go right in that way. So much room now if you get that shit out of your way. Yeah, you got to put it back on, but I've got all my rockers laid out in order. I just got to make sure put the valve bridges back on those back 3 cylinders, and then put the rockers on, torque them down. I don't have to adjust any valves. I kept them in order as they were disassembled. And then put the rocker box on. We'll do all that here in a little bit. Well, we're getting there. Let's see here. I forgot about this. Don't really need it. It's pretty warm in here. Grid heater. Grid heater relays are right there. Fuel pump in the tank's running. Cracked the bleeder on the drain on the fuel filter. Had fuel there. I haven't put the belt on or the alternator on yet because that plug that's missing there, I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with that. It's kind of a special plug. Might be kind of screwed till I get the plug for it. I think I already tightened this one up, I think. I got oil. I'll check it again. There's another cam out of another 5.9 there. I'll knock that over. Okay, let's just check this oil again. Probably drops over full now, but that'll drop down once we, hopefully, everything starts pumping. And wait a second. No, that's low. What am I thinking? I need more oil in there. I'm so low. Let me pour some more oil in there. It's probably going to smoke pretty bad because there's a lot of oil from them rings in there broke and that exhaust back there, and then plus we don't have the charge air cooler. We don't have the charge air cooler hoses hooked up, so our little air fuel ratio is probably going to be a little screwy. And check engine light's going to be on because the fan. Clutch ain't plugged in. Let's just see what happens here. Hopefully it has a nice even crank. And I'm going to put it back into neutral. Okay. Gotta get the rail all charged up. Crank on her a little bit. Turn the key back on. Let her set for a couple minutes and then we'll try it again. Alright, so I think we got all the grounds and everything hooked up. Yeah, that makes a difference. Now the gauges are reading. Okay, let's go. And we got ECM. Actually, that must have been the ground for the ECM. Where is engine oil pressure at? Really? Should be in here. What the heck, huh? Fuel pressure. I thought there was an engine oil pressure. Low oil switch on. Okay. Let's look at fuel rail pressure, I guess. That's about all we can look at. I thought there was an engine oil pressure on here. I really did. I don't see it though. Well guys, here we go. Running. Oh, I can't let it on the clutch. I don't have the shift tower on there, so it's... Okay. I don't have the shift tower. I let it on the clutch a little bit and the son bitch started slinging oil up in the cab, so we gotta be careful there. Sounded good. Oil pressure. Oh, uh-oh. Oil pressure started falling off. What happened there? It's because it's all over the ground. What happened? Where is that coming from? What happened? What happened? What happened? There's a freeze plug in there that blew out. We got a hell of a mess here. I have to find him a damn dipstick tube. I grabbed the thing to pull it out of there and the damn handle broke off on it. Where are we at here? Oh, it looks nice and clean. I've already ran her a while. Jeez. And the hash marks on the full line, which I don't think I'm running it in all the way either. Because of that, I gotta get another dipstick for him. So I gotta put the front drive line in it and tidy things up. Wires, there ain't really much underneath on these manual transmissions to tidy up, really. But what I wanted to do here, guys, is let's plug the scan tool in the data link connector. I'm gonna set the idle up on it. I'm gonna have to crack the door open so it doesn't asphyxiate me in here. Oh, I need to get this thing out of here and get the mess cleaned up in here. Man, that freeze plug popping out of there sure made a mess. But I can set the idle up with my scanner here, I think. I don't want to sit there and let it idle. I can bump it up to around 1,500 to 2,000. Then I could put this stuff together while it's sitting here. Any day now, sweetheart. Come on, you piece of shit, come on. (2005) DRM, diagnosis, control unit, powertrain, ECM. There's no code, so no check engine light. So let's go to active test. I can set my RPM, see. Let's set her. Let's set her 2,000. Let's see what it sounds like at idle first. Sure everything's good to go. Sounds pretty good to me. Is it smoking much or what? Oh, these things make you nervous. all this work can be flushed down the tubes real quick. Oil pressure is really good. Okay, engine must be running. No shit, Sherlock. Huh. Oh, I think that didn't work for shit, did it? You know what? I think no, I think that just momentarily. Huh. I thought it set it at, and it stayed there. Doesn't seem right. Engine must not be running. Okay, so I don't want to do that, I guess. I know on the Fords I can set the RPM and make it stay there. It ain't doing that on this. Oh well, let's let it warm up. I guess that goes that whole idea of doing that. I could open the door up, it's gonna asphyxiate me. Oh, what a mess we got in here. Then we gotta try to shove this Ford in here and get it running. After I get this Dodge out of here, this Ford's gotta get in here and get running. How's our blow-by look down there? Oh. What is this leaking right here? That is engine oil. Where's that coming from? Where's that coming from? Rear main seal leaking? Can't tell where it's coming from. That's not good. Something leaking from the back end here. Leaking right here. What the hell's leaking right there? I got a couple of leaks I gotta fix. Can't tell what's leaking right there. Rocker box or something leaking on the back and it's running down the back of the box. Oh, fucking phone. Okay, so it's kind of looking like that rear main seal's leaking is what it's looking like. Which I told Trent when I was putting that seal in. I got that seal with the Reliance kit, and I told him I do not like this seal. It was seemed like a really shitty seal to me, the way it went on and everything. And I used I don't know if I videoed that or not, but so what we're gonna end up doing, I'm gonna make sure that's it. I don't feel anything back on the back of the head wet or anything. Where is that? Where is that seal installer? There it is. That's the seal installer right there from Cummins, you know, or from Monaco Tool. What we're gonna do is I got the fixed a leak on the filter head. You know, that's kind of puzzling me a little bit. I asked Trent, I said, did you take that 1/8 inch pipe plug loose there on that filter head? And he goes, no, I didn't touch that. It was loose. I didn't touch that. And the filter head stayed here with the oil cooler. So I don't know why that's loose like that. Oil stays nice and clean. So the good news is it runs like a top. Just got to fix the leak back there, which means this manual transmission is probably going to cost me 3 or 4 hours. I don't know. I'll have to eat it, but I don't know. I put the rear seal and I used a seal installer. I just don't feel anything wet back there on the back of the head, and you can't see anything. It's coming out of the bell housing, which kind of tells me that the let me see if I can reach back in here and feel anything wet now. Unless there's something on the back of the engine block, maybe that this machine shop didn't stick a plug in or something like that. I don't know. We'll do a little bit more in-depth research on the leak tomorrow. I don't think it's going to be too serious. Even the rear main on these isn't too serious of a deal. With the manual transmission, you can have that transmission out on the floor in about an hour and block up the back of the engine and pull. If you have to pull, you don't even have to do that either. You can pull the seal out and then use the installer, put it back in. But got to find out exactly where it's coming from. Let's just listen to it run again. I like hearing a new engine run. No blow by at all. I mean, there's no blow by at all on it. Oh man, this sucker's been some work. These are labor intensive. These pickups are. On these Dodges, don't let anybody fool you. They're not any better than a Ford or a Chevy. They're labor intensive, man. Good oil pressure. Just gotta fix the damn leak. Well, I guess we'll just have to come back and fix it. It ain't leaving here till it's right.